Nobody joins a cult. Nobody just decides to, hey, I'm gonna screw up my life today.
At that point, we knew she was in a cult. All of the dancers that are currently in, all of the members that are still in, they are all victims.
I just had to keep going. It's my kid. I couldn't give up on her, even if it cost me my life.
Netflix's wild new docuseries Dancing for the Devil, the 7M TikTok cult, is uncovering the story of TikTok dancers who are allegedly trapped in a cult masquerading as a management company called 7M. The show's popularity has increased public interest in cults, which Merriam-Webster defines as a group of people who practice great devotion to a person, idea, object, or work. From Bethany Lenz to Joaquin Phoenix and Michelle Pfeiffer, Access Hollywood is breaking down the celebrities who have been reportedly linked to cults and uncovering what they've said about their alleged experiences over the years.
Even though I may have gone through, some crazy things, I'm coming out of it speaking about it so that way it won't happen to other people.
Dancing for the Devil, the 7M TikTok cult, tells the story of Shekinah, run by leader Robert Shin, and how the lines quickly blurred after he created 7M, a management company for the dancers within the church. Kylie Douglas, one of the dancers featured in the series, sat down exclusively with Access Hollywood's Zuri Hall to share her story, explaining she learned about the group through her ex-boyfriend. She says it was first presented to her as a Bible study, but then got invited to the services. It wasn't until about a year in that she became a part of 7M, and Kylie says the church and dance group were intertwined. When it came to the money, Kylie told Zuri that they would allegedly take a large sum of their income.
So within the church, there's something called 10-10-10 that we, our mentors wanted us to participate in, which was 10% of your income going to man of God, 10% going to tithes, and 10% going to offering. And
So what is man of God?
That's the pastor of the church.
Okay, so
Directly
10 going
to
to
him.
Robert.
10%.
Okay.
Yeah. So when you look at that, that's already 30%, 10-10-10. 30% of your income gone. Then when you look at management fees, and some people are giving more than others, mine was 20%.
Wait, man of God wasn't the management fees?
No, those are all for the church.
Got it.
Yeah. So those are your church fees, I guess, if you want to call it. And then the management fee for any gig you get would be, for instance, like 20% of, you made $2,000 off of a gig. 20% of that's going to management.
So that's potentially 50% gone.
Yeah.
Kylie admitted it took her some time to realize that things might be off within the group.
But it was when I realized it on my own, in my own timing, when, things actually started affecting my mental, when I was like fully mentally drained and clocking out and, isolated more. That's when I realized, okay, this is not what I thought it was.
Kylie may have gotten out of 7M, but Miranda Derrick is still in it. Her family went viral after claiming that they had been cut off from Miranda because of alleged cult-like behavior within the group. Miranda's sister Melanie recently chatted with Zuri and explained she noticed a change in her sister when she flew out to California and started hanging out with Robert Shin's son Isaiah. When Miranda returned home to Michigan, Melanie says things were different.
It was somewhat of a shift, and she would, be on the phone late at night, and later we would find out that she was attending services via Zoom. And so then when we went back to California is when it really picked up and the distance started.
Since the documentary aired, Miranda has spoken out, writing in a statement shared on her Instagram story that her and her family do not see eye to eye, and that she feels the documentary was one-sided. But Melanie defended their family while chatting with Zuri.
At that point, we knew she was in a cult. So, of course, we are going to have our guard up. And I was telling her all of the things. I mean, I went to 2 of their private dinners and 2 of the services that you have to be invited to. And I was invited to those. And I picked up on all of these red flags. And so when she's saying that we weren't supportive, it was because I was seeing what she wasn't seeing. I was seeing all those red flags. I was seeing that they wanted to, because I wasn't going anymore, they wanted to rip us apart. Of course, if she was, wanting to to further her spiritual journey in a way that wasn't with someone like Robert Shin, that would be fantastic. But we knew the situation and we're trying to avoid all of this.
Since our interview with Melanie aired, Miranda has spoken out again, claiming her life is in danger and calling out her family's intentions.
Before this documentary, my husband and I, we felt safe. Now that this documentary is out, we feel like our lives have been put in danger. We have both been followed in our cars. We have received hate mail, death threats. And I don't understand how my parents and my sister thought that this documentary would help me or would help our relationship in any way. I don't understand that. And I have been getting together with my family for the past couple years privately to work on our relationship, to make things right, to mend what has been broken. And I've been loving it. I've been loving getting together, laughing, just enjoying each other's company. And this documentary has made it very difficult to continue doing that. And honestly, I think that my parents and my sister have focused so much on this documentary that they've forgotten about working on any relationship with me. And that hurts. That hurts me to say.
Access Hollywood has reached out to Shin, who is 7M CEO and Shekinah Church's founder, for comment. He has previously denied all allegations against him, including that 7M is a cult. Another celebrity linked to an alleged cult was Catherine Oxenberg's daughter, India. The actress and author has been vocal about the great lengths she went through to get her daughter out of Nxivm. In 2018, she told Access Hollywood's Kit Hoover and Scott Evans how she and her daughter got introduced to Nxivm's subsidiary company, Executive Success Programs.
And it was pitched as an entrepreneurial coaching program.
Yeah.
Seemed completely innocent. She's way more trusting than I am. I'm older and jaded, but I still continued to take classes because I was seeing benefits. But I never joined, I never became a coach, and that's the difference. She became a coach, and then they had license to break her down and reshape her in their own image without her even being aware. That's what's so devious.
Right.
She then explained when she learned her daughter was in this alleged cult.
When somebody reached out to me who defected and said, your daughter is part of this subgroup, and it's based on a master-slave hierarchy, and they're recruiting young, beautiful women to have sex with Keith Raniere. He was like my age, he's in his mid-50s. And they're putting them on these very strict diets between 500 and 800 calories a day.
What?
Yeah, they were sleep deprived. They had to sign a lifetime vow of commitment to their master. So, I mean—
Their master being—
Well, being whoever had recruited them. But then the first tier— it sounds so weird even talking about it, the first tier slaves answered directly to Keith. But none of the other women were told that Keith was involved. They were told it was a female empowerment group.
Eventually, Nxivm got the attention of the federal government, and they began investigating the group. Its leader, Keith Raniere, was charged and convicted of several offenses, including sex trafficking in 2020, and was sentenced to 120 years in prison, per NBC News. In the courtroom, he said he was, quote, truly sorry that his organization led to a place where, quote, there is so much anger and so much pain, adding, quote, I do believe I am innocent of the charges. It is true, I am not remorseful of the crimes I do not believe I committed at all. Other people in the group have pled guilty to various charges, including Smallville actress Allison Mack. She was charged with racketeering and conspiracy and assisted prosecutors in convicting Raniere, according to the New York Times. Per the outlet, at her sentencing in 2021, a federal judge said she used her status as a popular actress to lure women and, quote, recruit and groom them as sexual partners. She was released from prison in 2023 after serving 2 of her 3-year sentence.
From when I was 7 to when I was 22, I was in this group called MRA. And it was basically a cult.
Glenn Close opened up in an episode of Prince Harry and Oprah Winfrey's Apple TV Plus series, The Me You Can't See, about the childhood trauma she claims she suffered from growing up in what she calls a cult. According to the Encyclopedia Britannica, the group started in the 1920s and was a, quote, worldwide evangelist campaign based on God's guidance, moral absolutes, and the life-changing of individuals through personal work. In 1938, it took on the Moral Reamendment name.
Everybody spouted the same things, and there's a lot of rules, a lot of control.
Because of how we were raised, anything that you thought you would do for yourself was considered selfish.
When looking back at her time in the group, Glenn says she doesn't have any memories that don't involve MRA.
It was really awful. We were so broken up. I mean, it's astounding that something that you went through at such an early stage in your life still has such a potential to be destructive. I think that's childhood trauma.
Rose McGowan and Joaquin Phoenix have also openly talked about their association with Children of God, an alleged religious cult that promoted the virtues of free love and prepared for the second coming of Jesus. The organization disbanded in 1978 amid reports of alleged misconduct, child abduction, and sexual abuse, according to ABC News. Rose's family was a part of the Italian chapter of the group. The actress opened up about her time with the organization when she spoke to People magazine in 2018, claiming her family fled when they allegedly began advocating child-adult sexual relations. She told the outlet that she didn't agree with the lifestyle and how they expected women to act. Quote, "I did not want to be like those women. They were basically there to serve the men sexually." She explained to the mag that when her father began to fear something had happened to her, they left. Quote, "My dad was strong enough to realize that this hippie love had gone south." Joaquin opened up about his brief time with the Children of God in 2019 while chatting with Vanity Fair. The Oscar winner says his family was already part of the group when he was born, doing missionary work in Venezuela and Trinidad. They reportedly left after its founder, David Berg, allegedly starting to encourage sex as a recruitment practice. Quote, "They got some letter, or however it came, some suggestion of that, and they were like, this, we're out of here," he told Vanity Fair, adding, "I think they were idealists and believed that they were with a group who shared their beliefs and their values. I think they probably were looking for safety and family." Joaquin was 3 years old when his family left the group. Shortly after, several of its members were arrested across multiple continents for allegedly promoting sex in the name of Jesus, per the Washington Post. Before Michelle Pfeiffer became a major star, she was a member of a group that she referred to as a cult. In 2013, she opened up to the Sunday Telegraph's Stella magazine about a group she met in Los Angeles during the 80s, prior to her leap to fame, who she claimed believed in breatharianism, which is the ability to live without food and water. The actress called the diet something, quote, nobody can adhere to, and admitted the group was, quote, very controlling. Michelle said she was saved when she met her first husband, Peter Horton, who was casting a film about the Moonies, who were followers of the Unification Church. While she was helping him research, she says she realized some similarities between the Moonies and what she was experiencing. Quote, "We were talking with an ex-Moonie and he was describing the psychological manipulation and I just clicked," she told the outlet. She first thought of the group as a kind of personal trainers, adding, quote, "They worked with weights and put people on diets. Their thing was vegetarianism. They were very controlling. I wasn't living with them, but I was there a lot, and they were always telling me I needed to come more. I had to pay for all the time I was there, so it was financially very draining." Although Michelle is no longer part of breatharianism, she never revealed how she was able to get out.
I was in a cult for 10 years.
In 2023, Bethany Joy Lenz revealed on the Drama Queens podcast that she believed she had been a part of a cult. After the revelation, she sat down for a wide-ranging interview with Access Hollywood's Zuri Hall and explained why she didn't speak out until now.
I think anytime we go through trauma, there's always shame attached to it, and you're not sure how people are going to perceive you, and you don't want to be just categorized and lumped in as like, oh, the girl who was in a cult. Right. So that's now what I am every time I walk into a room. I don't want that. I'm so much more than that. But I think that happens to so many of us because of so many different things in our lives. Mm-hmm. People just like to put labels and categories on everyone. And so that was a big part of it, just feeling like, I don't know how to talk about this in a way that I feel like I'll really be understood. And I was kind of terrified of being misunderstood. So I just didn't talk about it. I didn't want to say anything.
While talking to Zuri in 2023, she admitted she didn't go into it thinking she was joining a, quote, cult, but it all started changing so quickly.
It's a slow burn. Mark Vincente in The Vows had a great quote. He said, "Nobody joins a cult. Nobody just decides to, hey, I'm going to screw up my life today."
Yeah.
No, you join something that you think is good. You become a part of something you think is good and useful and helpful, and it gets twisted along the way. And the important thing to learn would be, where are those mile markers along the way so you can recognize when things are getting twisted and then be able to set a boundary against those things.
Bethany will talk more about her experience in the alleged cult when her memoir, Dinner for Vampires, comes out in October 2024. But while chatting with Access, she revealed how her One Tree Hill cast was there for her after she left the group.
When I left, Paul Johansson opened up his house, and I stayed there with my daughter. And I met up with a whole bunch of old castmates and friends and people who were like, "We love you. We've been here. We're ready. We don't really understand what you went through, but we're here to talk about it." And that's all you can really ask for. Somebody who really sees you for who you are, and they know that you're not stupid. You're not like, there's nothing wrong with you. You just got caught up in something because you care.
Right.
And you probably just didn't have any boundaries.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's part of learning how to grow up too, learning those boundaries.